and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. Now, 2009 could well go down as the year of the small car in India, and that's because Chevrolet launched the Beat in January. That was followed up by the Volkswagen Polo and the Ford Figo just last month, and we are going to see the Micra launching in July. So if you are a prospective small car buyer, you've got 25 cars to choose from, and I'm not even counting the variants. So we decided at Overdrive to make life a little bit simple for you. Bert is standing by with a comparison of what's available and what's hot in the small car market. Bert, what do you have for us today?
Well, Shireen, what I have for you today is not so simple because this, the premium hatchback segment, is the most difficult segment to make a choice in. This segment demands efficiency and price, but consumers here also yearn for something more special. Perhaps it's more goodies or more space, more comfort, luxury, perhaps even more styling and design. This customer is a bit more discerning than the average small car buyer. Well, Shireen, what I have for you today is not so simple because this, the premium hatchback segment, is the most difficult segment to make a choice in. This segment demands efficiency and price, but consumers here also yearn for something more special. Perhaps it's more goodies or more space, more comfort, luxury, perhaps even more styling and design. This customer is a bit more discerning than the average small car buyer. And to tickle the fancy of discerning buyers, we have a fine selection of tasty premium hatchbacks. We have the latest entrant, the Volkswagen Polo, Maruti's long-serving and evergreen Swift, Hyundai's global bestseller, the i20, and then there's the Honda Jazz. And to help me sift through the contenders, I'm joined by Shumi. The Polo is crucial to Volkswagen's plans in India, and I'm hoping that the amount of money spent on that big media blitz is well worth it. Now, all four cars in this comparison test have a 1.2-litre petrol engine. That's the common denominator amongst them, but that's also where the similarities end. And if you are wondering why the Figo and the Beat don't figure in this test, well, it's because they are priced significantly lower, and we chose not to include them.
And one of the differences, an intangible one, is that the Polo is the German hatchback here, while the other three cars are all Asian. And you'd be surprised how accurately these cars represent the cultures they come from.
I agree with you on that. The Polo is typically European and so clinically German. So what you get is this typical European styling. You get bold wheel arches, chiseled flanks, and impeccable build quality. The Polo actually feels built like a vault. Against that, the Asian cars feel a lot more dainty and delicate, but that's not to say they aren't as well built as the Polo is. Though apart from the dynamic styling of the Swift, I really wouldn't call the other two cars in this comparison test good lookers.
Enough talking, Bert. Can we start driving now? We've long said at Overdrive that the Swift sets the handling benchmark for hatchbacks in India. This kind of pure driving pleasure has never been done at this kind of a price point. In fact, it's the handling that has kept the Swift relevant in the face of very strong hatchback competition. Until now.
After several years, the Swift has finally been surpassed. On the dynamic front, the Polo is the new class leader. It's poised and stable when you want to indulge in some fun, and the steering feedback is excellent, especially in the city where it feels very light and easy to operate. But where the Polo is vastly superior is its ride quality. Whether running 14 or 15-inch wheels, the Polo soaks up bad roads like a much larger car. Okay, there is some road noise from the tires, but the suspension irons out anything India's highways or city streets throw up. And the ride feels nearly as plush as in the Passat or Jetta. Admittedly, the Polo's engine though is not as smooth as Maruti's phenomenal K-series motor. This one sounds harsher and is a tad slower to 100 because of the gearbox, which prioritizes fuel efficiency higher than theatrics. But with all these powertrains being so closely matched, the Polo's ride comfort, maneuverability and precision become a deciding factor in its favor.
Next up is the Hyundai i20. Now I'll be the first one to admit that this car loses out on the powertrain front, it loses out on the handling front, suspension's a little soggy, steering feels over-assisted. But it's a good city car, there is a good amount of space inside, and you get a lot of equipment for your money.
Both the i20 and the Polo scored 5 stars on Euro NCAP's crash test. Both have airbags all round and offer ABS on higher variants. But while the top-end Polo gets only an integrated CD player, the i20 offers both aux and USB inputs. And it's not just that the i20 is a lot more spacious. You actually appreciate that space if you compare the interiors back to back against the Polo. As you can see, the rear passenger bench in the Polo is cramped with little knee room, and shoulder space is just about adequate for 3. So when you get out of the Polo and step into the i20, you'd think you landed on Jupiter. Not only is there a lot of space for all passengers, even the boot is fairly large and spacious.
I'm not further away from the camera, I'm just in the Jazz. In fact, if space were the sole criteria for this test, this car would win hands down. This is the largest cabin by far, and behind it is the biggest boot in this entire test. In fact, the engine is great too. Economy, performance, it has got both. The handling is excellent, and the only area where the Jazz could improve is ride quality, which is a little stiff.
Now the Jazz has a traditional iVTEC engine. And by traditional, I mean that this engine needs to be revved hard to keep it in the power band. While this does encourage enthusiastic driving, in the city it can be cumbersome because you're constantly searching for lower gears to keep moving comfortably. The Polo only scores over the Jazz with its better handling and high-speed stability. Otherwise, on all counts, the Jazz is clearly the Polo's master. Four outstanding cars, but this comparison test can have only one winner, and that winner is
The Polo. It's not as quick as the Swift, but the ride quality is far superior and the handling is very good as well.
And even though the Polo is not as spacious as the i20, it's clearly much better built and the styling is also far more impressive.
But when it comes to the Jazz,
Well, we have a problem there because you see everybody at Overdrive clearly thinks that the Jazz is the best premium hatchback in the country today.
but, and this is a big one, the base variant is very well loaded, but still, the price is 2 lakh rupees more expensive than the Polo, and no matter how you slice it, that kind of money is very hard to justify.
So, if you are looking for a premium hatchback that's fun, nice to drive, and clearly affordable, well, the Polo ticks all the right boxes. So, Shireen, looking for one today?